Hi, I'm Darian, and I'm the creator behind DE Media Design. And today we're going to be talking all about how to work well with photographers. As a filmmaker myself, I have never had a wedding where I did not work with a photographer. And I know a lot of videographers who can say the same thing. And it can be hard because you each have your own system, your own way of doing things. And for that day, you have to merge with someone else and find a way to work well together. And over the past few years, I figured out a few ways to make this transition go a little bit easier, so I wanted to share those tips with you today. One of the biggest tips I can give is reaching out to your vendors beforehand. I know this sounds super simple, but it's seriously the biggest game changer. So what I do before weddings is I send out a questionnaire to all of my couples. And in that questionnaire, I ask them who their vendors are, and this way I can find out who the photographer is, and then I usually look them up on social media. If they have an Instagram or Facebook, I'll send them a message and just introduce myself, express how excited I am to work with them and to meet them if I haven't worked with them before, and just let them know that I'm going to be shooting with them that day. That's really all you have to do is put yourself out there, introduce yourself, and it just makes you seem way more friendly. I am very much a planner, so I do not like to just show up on the wedding day not knowing who I'm going to be working with, and I don't want them to not know that I'm showing up because who knows, they could have this whole game plan set out, and adding a videographer I'm sure can really throw a wrench in their plans because I'm sure that can be super frustrating if they don't know that they're working with a videographer that day, let alone don't even know who it is. Another tip I have going into that is communication. This is so important. You really want to have a plan in place before you head into the wedding day. I typically have my usual places where I stand during the ceremony. So what I do during that downtime before the ceremony is I'll go and talk to the photographer, see what their game plan is, where they plan to stand, what they typically do, and then I'll also express what my plan is and just see how we can work together in that scenario. Maybe that's standing right beside them when the bride's walking down the aisle. Maybe that is, each of you taking on a different section. I don't know what that is for you, but it usually for me depends on the photographer and how they do things. And I usually just try to adapt what I typically do with what they're doing. The ceremony is not the only time you need to communicate. Definitely at the reception, for toasts, first dances, all of that stuff, you just really want to have a plan in place. And then again, when it comes to portraits, you don't want to just be a fly on the wall. You want to get your shots too because you're both being paid. You just want to be courteous, especially during portraits, because I'm sure they have their shot list and how they typically do posing, but it's also important for you to get those shots as well. So maybe in between their posing, you could just jump in real quick or add some movement to a shot that they set up. Just communicate how you want that to work. And honestly, most of the time, photographers appreciate that break when it comes to posing portraits. And my final tip is just be a team player. Neither one of you is more important than the other. You're both being hired by the couple, and the couple is expecting a great product from both of you. So you just need to find a way to work together. And I know that that's not always easy. Sometimes you will have situations where a vendor just does not want to work with you, and that's fine. Essentially, you're catering to the couple, not to them, but you definitely want to try your best to work well together because honestly, if you work really well with a photographer and they enjoy you, chances are they're going to refer you to other couples if they liked working with you. I've had a lot of photographers tell me that they've had bad experiences working with videographers, and I'm here to break that trend. I don't want people to have a bad experience when they work with me. Honestly, I want to be friends and I want to work together again because I don't know about you, but it makes it a lot more fun when I get along with the photographer on the wedding day. When you work well with vendors, you're more than likely going to get referred, and that gives you more bookings, which pays the bills. So, full circle. There's a lot more tips that I could give today, but here's just a few. There will be a part 2 later where I'm actually going to be interviewing another photographer and asking her input. So stay tuned to that. If you're interested, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video or learned something from this video, please hit that like button. See you next time.